Hello friends, my pleasant and humble wishes. In this video, we are going to saw about the briefing of June first week current affairs. The first topic is KV Subramaniam, the chief economic advisor, says the overall impact of second pandemic wave on economy not likely to be large. It is difficult to forecast if the country would achieve a double-digit growth in the current fiscal. The Economic Survey of 2020 till 2021, released in January this year, projected GDP growth of 11% during the current fiscal year ending the March of 2022. The predicted exact growth number that the country may achieve as a path of pandemic remains uncertain. Overall economic impact of second wave is not likely to be large. On inflation, he said it is expected to be range bound and should not exceed the prescribed level. Regarding the food grain production, it is projected to be a record level this fiscal amid expectation of normal monsoon. Moreover, in GDP, it is shrank by 7.3% in 2020 till 2021, but ongoing year, the fourth quarter of 2020 to 2021 recorded as a growth of 1.6% in GDP. The GDP contracted 7.3% in 2020 till 2021 as per National Income Estimate. This National Income Estimate was released by National Statistical Office and said that marginally better than 8% contraction in the economy projected earlier GDP of 2019 to 2020 prior to COVID-19 pandemic, and it was 4%. And moreover, first half of 2020 till 2021 it seems to be technically recession, and second half of 2020 till 2021 shows the positive growth of this year. The gross value added in the Indian economy shrank by 6.2% in 2020 till 2021 compared to a 4.1% of rise in previous year. Only two sectors bucked the trend. That is, first one is agri, forestry and fishing. The primary sector rose up to 3.6%, whereas the electricity, gas, water supply and utility service grows up to 1.9%. The gross value added from hotel, transport, communication, broadcast decline of 18.2%, whereas construction declined to minus 8.6%, mining and quarrying declined to 8.5%, and manufacturing declined to minus 7.2%. The GDP contracted to 24.4% in April to June of 2020 and contracted to 7.4% in the second half. In this, it shows a positive growth. So the next topic is about BRICS summit. Foreign ministers had hold virtual meeting on last Tuesday. Boosting cooperation ineffectively dealing with coronavirus pandemic is expected to figure prominently at a virtual meet of foreign ministers of India, China and other three members of BRICS. Also, we'll discuss the need for reforming the multilateral system and the ways to enhance cooperation in counter-terrorism, says the Minister of External Affairs. India is hosting the chair of BRICS and it is hosted by S. Jaishankar. This is third time India is holding the chair, and previously on 2012 and 2016 we have chaired the BRICS meeting, and now it is in 2021. The theme of BRICS 15 is BRICS at 15, intra-BRICS cooperation for continuing consolidation and consensus. BRICS has 5 largest developing countries. It has 41% of population, 24% of global GDP and 16% of global trade. Foreign ministers of bloc first meet in 2006. First BRICS summit has held in 2009. It also developed a new developmental bank for funding projects of infrastructure and sustainable development. BRICS will assist India to fight COVID-19, says China minister. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi expressed solidarity with India over the recent surge in COVID-19 cases and said the grouping was ready to assist the country to fight pandemic as long as needed. Minister also agreed on reforming the multilateral system. It was first time that such consensus was reached. Ministers expressed their concern over the continuing public health because of impact of COVID-19 pandemic globally and expressed their condolences for lost life in this. This gathering described pandemic as most serious challenge before the world, while also highlighted the importance of respect for territorial integrity and the sovereignty equality of states. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar welcomed the participants and recollects the journey of BRICS, since 2006 and their first meeting in New York 2006. Now this organization completes its 15th year of existence. A joint statement issued after the meeting is called for equitable access to vaccines, medicines and technologies as well as equipment to deal with the pandemic. The minister reaffirmed the need to use all the relevant measures during the pandemic, including supporting ongoing consideration in World Trade Organization on COVID-19 vaccination, intellectual property right waiver and use of flexibilities of TRIPS, that is trade related aspects of intellectual property rights agreement, and Doha declaration on the TRIPS agreement and public health. India and South Africa demanded TRIPS waiver for COVID-19 vaccines. The mention of term flexibilities in the joint statement is being viewed as a normative step forward towards greater vaccine equality and availability in world. Apart from the support of World Trade Organization, Foreign Minister also expressed support for comprehensive strengthening and reforming of UN Security Council, the General Assembly, the UN Secretariat and Economic and Social Council. They said working of international multilateral agreement should be more responsive and inclusive. It should strengthen the capacity of individual states and international organizations to better respond to new and emerging tradition of and non-tradition challenges, including terrorism, money laundering, cyber security, infodemics, and fake news. Also suggest grouping against the terrorism and expressed to full implement of BRICS counter-terrorism strategies, that is, result-oriented action plan. It also supported sustainable solution to the Afghan crisis. And also, the participants of Russia, Brazil and South Africa called for transparency in recruitment to the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. So the next news is about Chinese population. As birth declines, China to allow couples to have its third child also. It is also planning to raise its retirement age for to keep more people in the workforce and to improve the pension and health service for the elderly people. This Chinese coercive population measure serves as warning for India, says the expert. For 4 decades, China has one-child and two-child policies to control its population. Last Monday, China says it will allow third child also, as it states at fast aging population. Coercive measures like two-child led to human crisis. In India also, we are now learning from the Chinese failure experienced as in third decades. We Indians also end up with this aging crisis issues. Example, at present, Sikkim and Lakshadweep, we are facing the similar challenges of aging population as well as shrinking workforce, given that they have low fertility rate. India has long been concerned about curbing population explosion, but need to focus on its attention on population stabilization also. India, according to UNFPA's India's Aging Report 2017, shared age of population. The population over age of 60 is 8%, whereas population over the age of 60 at the year 2015 is 19%. By the end of century, elderly will be 34%. The annual growth rate of elder will be 3%. On contrary, the rate of young group is already in the negative growth rate. So, we are also going to face such issues. So, we should learn from the Chinese experience and we should also make some proper measure to avoid such crisis. So, the next topic is about various talk between Supreme Court and our central government regarding the COVID-19. The Supreme Court seeks data on centers' COVID-19 vaccination drive. Supreme Court said union governments paid COVID-19 vaccination policy for citizens from age 18 to 24 years as prima facie arbitrary and irritational. In 32-page order published on last Wednesday, bench led by Justice D.V. Chandrachud has sought detailed information on the percentage of population vaccinated with one and both the doses as well as eligible person in the first 3 phases of vaccination drive. This includes rural as well as the urban population. Supreme Court need complete data on centers' purchase history of vaccine till date. All the 3, Covaxin, Covishield and Sputnik V. And also, the data should clarify dates of procurement and quantity of procurement and projected data of supply. Also, ask for government how and when the remaining population would get vaccinated. And also, because of the Supreme Court question, the center justifies its low price on account of its availability to place large purchase order for vaccines. So Supreme Court questions again that center's logic that manufacturers are selling COVID-19 vaccines for hefty discount because it places a bulk order. Court asks for that why it cannot buy 100% vaccines as discount rate instead of leaving the state to depend on themselves. The Supreme Court added, if central government unique monopolistic buyer position is the only reason for its receiving vaccine at much lower rate from manufacturer, it is important for us to examine the rationality of existing liberty vaccination policy against the Article 14, which says right to equality of Indian as per the Constitution. Since it could place several burdens, particularly on state and union territories suffering from financial distress. Also added to ask government to clarify how the union budget for 2020 till 22 embarked 35,000 crore for procuring the vaccines and how these funds have been utilized so far and why it cannot be utilized for vaccinating person aged 18 to 44 completely. And also Supreme Court arises questions on COVID digital divide. Taking a dig at the center's argument on the poor and marginalized can lean on friends to register on online vaccination, says the center. So the Supreme Court said the center, even the digitally literate are finding it hard to get vaccine slots on COVINs. The vaccination policy exclusively relying on digital portal for vaccinating a significant population of this country between the ages of 18 to 44 would be unable to meet its target of universal immunization owing to such a digital divide. It is marginalized sections of the society who would bear the burden of this accessibility barrier. This could have serious implication on fundamental rights of equality and right to health of a person within the above age of group, says the justice. The next topic is Center tells state to split rural job scheme, that is MG Narega wages into separate categories for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and others. The Government of India has decided to provide separate budget needs for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in case of MG Narega in the financial year of 2021 till 2022. The existing system wages under the scheme is only for one type. This is not category-wise provision of wage payment. But the criticism aroused by the activities like workers' right said that this will unnecessarily complicate the payment system and express fear that it may lead to the reduction in scheme funding, which is actually being to be very simplified. All Narega workers have same rights. Separating them into three categories for purpose of budgeting and wage payment serves no purpose. It may also lead to reduction in funding. An analysis of wage payment in Jharkhand in April and May by LibTech India found no difference in time given to pay SC and ST workers and others, indicating that there was no benefits for marginalized communities under this new system. Finance Ministry on answering this, the decision to split MG Narega wage payment by caste category was done on the advice of the Finance Ministry and in order to assist the highlight the benefits of budgetary outlay towards the SC and ST. He said that this will not cause any delay in payment and any change in beneficiaries for the SC and ST population. He added, MG Narega is universal at this moment and there is no plan at all to focus MG Narega only in high SC ST population. There is absolutely no plan to change it from demand drive scheme. Hope this video is very useful. I would like to say that our academy WAR, Win and Rule, is coaching students in various exams like NEET, TNPSC, UPSCs, as well as we are tutoring students from class 6 to 12 in all subjects. One-to-one student coaching is also available at students' preferable timing. For further detail, refer the description.